everyone, Graham here again. Before we get into whatever topic I'm going to be talking about today, I want to address Jack and Seb real quick. As far as that wacky little song and that interruption, thanks. I tried to sync your two tracks and it didn't work at all. So, I would compose a bass line, but for that reason, and also the reason that I don't have an amp right now, for those reasons, I'm not going to. Yay! What I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about my adventures at TIFF. For those that don't know what TIFF is, it stands for Toronto International Film Festival. I live relatively close to Toronto, and you two live closer. On the Sunday of the weekend before this past one, my brother, my dad, and myself went there to see what we could see. My dad and I do this every year, and this time around my brother decided to come along. We saw 4 films while we were there: Philomena, Sunshine on Leith, The Double, and Startup. This video may be a little bit long because I'm going to go through each film individually, and whatever adventures may have occurred in between. Sorry. The first film we saw was Philomena. It was actually really good. It came in second in the whole TIFF top thing, where at the end of each film, if you went out and put your ticket into a little box, it was entered in as a vote towards the favorite, and it came in second. It tells the story of an old woman named Philomena, played by Judi Dench. She grew up in a nunnery and at the age of 14 met a boy at a fair who got her pregnant. Of course, this was back in the 50s or 60s when abortion was not an option, and also nunnery. Also, for all I know, she may have wanted to have the baby even if it weren't for abortion being around or whatever. Probably did, in fact, considering her character. The main plot of the film takes place several years in the future when Philomena goes on a quest of sorts to find her lost child. She's accompanied by a former politician and current journalist named Martin Sexsmith, played by Steve Coogan, who strangely enough also co-wrote the screenplay. Sexsmith himself is a devout atheist, while Philomena remains a devout Christian in spite of her problems with the nunnery. In all honesty, the diatribe between these two characters is probably what pulls this film together as excellent. Throughout the whole thing, there are several sections where they could be simply driving and having a conversation about almost anything, and it will wind up being either hilarious or kind of mind-boggling. I would actually say that Coogan and Dench deserve a award of some kind for their portrayals of their characters in this one, as that is truly what brings the film, although the plot itself is actually quite good as well, particularly being based on a true story. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh, Sexsmith is the baby, no. No, and it turns out something very different. The second film we saw was The Double. It starred Jesse Eisenberg and Beth Riesgraf and was directed by Richard Ayoade. I have to say that this film was a severe disappointment. It was based off the Dostoevsky novella of the same name, but apparently very loosely. I personally have never read the novel, so I'm going to end that critique there. What was mainly disappointing about this to me was the fact that this was directed and written by Ayoade, who is famous mainly for the IT Crowd, which I'll admit I didn't like, but he also in 2010 wrote and directed a film called Submarine, which was probably one of my favorite films of that year. But this one was... ugh. I'm not going to rage on the film by any means, because in truth it's not that bad. It's just really, really dumb. The film can essentially be, in a way, summed up like this. In a setting that's essentially Brazil with more green, a man named Simon James, who is inept at everything except for logistics, abruptly finds his double. He looks exactly like him and has the name of James Simon. From there, a whole pile of stuff happens, and I don't really want to spoil it, but it's confusing, contrived, and generally just not very good. There are several sections in it where James is doing something with, like, confidence and pizzazz and all that kind of stuff, and taking the credit for something that Simon did, and Simon doesn't do anything. The issue is that like, this works as, like, once, twice, 3 times, not, like, 10, like this film does. It gets frustrating, and yes, you're supposed to, like, feel frustrated due to the fact that Simon is frustrated, and blah, 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 blah. It's just annoying. It's just really damn annoying. I will give credit to 2 things in this. Beth Riesgraf is great, as always. And Eisenberg pulls something off that I didn't think he'd be able to with who he is. He's playing 2 characters throughout the course of the film that are polar opposites of each other. One who's inept at anything social, and the other one who's inept at anything not social. So essentially, one of them is Jesse Eisenberg, and the other one is a completely different person. So the one role he pulls off the way that he would pull off any other one, but the other one, there's one specific section I can remember where James Simon is trying to explain to Simon James how to flirt with women. Throughout this entire section, James Simon makes him out to be, well, essentially what the majority of nerds blame for stealing the girls they want, those assholes. During the course of this scene, though, he says one line that I can remember, and it stood out to me because it seemed like the kind of line that Jesse Eisenberg could never pull off. The line was, put your hand on the small of her back. No further downwards, because then you'll be touching her ass and that won't get you anywhere, but just on the small of her back. That way you can seem affectionate and caring, but still a reminder that at any given time you can push her down the stairs. He actually delivered that line significantly better than I just did. I could seriously say 2 words that would spoil the entire plot of this film for you, but I'm not going to. Hello, everyone. I know what you were expecting here, but, no. It's about 1 a.m. on, Saturday morning. My dog is whimpering for some reason. Probably because he's wet. And, I'm currently running on about 3 Red Bulls, and I just finally finished editing this thing. And it's about 19 minutes long. So I'm going to be splitting it into 3 parts. I'll be uploading them at times. I really have yet to figure that out. So yeah. Catch you later. Also, Jack, being broke sucks. Yeah.